apart from the typical breaks we take. So we're going to be trying to jump in these series as fast as possible. So here we go, the bottom right hand side, we kick off into this TvT. Our blue Terran is Bunny, representing Team Blazer. And the top left hand side, our red Terran player from Team Reciprocity INnoVation. Well, Bunny takes a map off of Zest, a hell of a game. Hell of a game. What we're going to be having here, again, a quick rundown of our match order. We've got INnoVation versus Bunny. Then we're going to have, I believe, Solar versus Bunny. Let me just double check this. Yes, INnoVation versus Bunny, Solar versus Bunny, Impact versus Bunny, Impact versus INnoVation, and Solar versus INnoVation. So we're actually going to end the day with, like, or to end this group with, like, 4 TVZs in a row. So we're going to have, like, tons of TVZ coming up for you guys in just a short amount of time. So that is all coming up. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it indeed as we get this rolling factory on the way in the main base. Reaper is about to pop out for Bunny. So Reaper comes out, second Reaper starting, so he's actually going to go for a 2 Reaper opening, which is fairly typical in TvT, and especially because he's opening with a double gas style, compared to INnoVation, who does go for the 1 gas expand. It's a very large map, so I do think you can get away with the 1 gas expand here as INnoVation. It's going to be tough for Bunny to get across and to bring his units over in plenty of time and so on, so it's going to be seeing the Reaper coming over and having a look to see what's happening here. So Triangle Man for the Twitch Prime sub for 3 months. Thank you so much. As Bunny does kill the Reaper of INnoVation. That's actually kind of scary for Inno, who did kind of, again, limit his unit count early, but now he's building 2 Hellions, so I still think he should be kind of okay here without too many problems. And Triangle Man, thank you so much for the 3-month resub. Guess some love in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Much appreciated. We're in that kind of phase of the stream is, well, let's just watch this Reaper Hellion opening here, see if it does any damage. Not really. We're in that kind of phase of the stream where I was away for a little while. We had a bit of a tough couple of months. I had family in hospital and then I went traveling. So, I mean, traveling was obviously nice, but for the stream, it's been a tough couple of months. So we're in that kind of phase where we're starting to stream a lot more again. We're putting the hours in and, you know, the support is slow. The sub count isn't really rising very quickly. So, you know, if you do enjoy the stream, do consider subscribing. It's crazy. A couple of subs makes a world of a difference, and you know, through the course of a day. I think yes, you know, if you like stream for like 6 hours and you get like no subs, you're like, oh my god. You stream for like 6 hours and you get like 2 or 3 subs, at least you like progress in some regard, you know. It's one of those, it's a weird streamer mentality, I guess. This has turned into a very interesting game. Concussive shells and more Hellions from INnoVation, while Bunny will go into a mag field accelerator upgrade on the Cyclones. 2 forms of aggression that aren't actually super common as a way to open up in the world of this TvT. So really excited to see what comes of this here as this bunker. We'll finish at the front, a Marine jumping into it. Hellion and Cyclone in the natural expansion at the moment as well. A lot of Hellions though from INnoVation, and with the Marauder support, this bunker is really like a savior for Bunny. If it wasn't for this bunker, he might be in some trouble. As it stands, INnoVation will try and drop Marauders. Okay, he is just going to fly around. He is just going to get into the back of this base here. Marauders still haven't dropped. They will now grab. Did they get concussive shells onto the Cyclones? Not yet. Now the Cyclones do take a lot of damage, but with the bunker, oh my god. Well, the bunker doesn't matter actually if the SCVs are still dropping, right? 7 SCVs do go down, but INnoVation gave up a lot of army. Can Bunny counterattack off of this, I guess, is the real question. Instantly loads up the Cyclones into the medevac to move across the map. He's 8 workers down, so he kind of needs to find something, but I just don't know what he'll be able to find, because you look at the army supplies, and INnoVation has plenty. He's even got a Raven to interference matrix and so on as well. So definitely can, definitely I think INnoVation with the setup to be able to defend also has a siege tank, so I actually don't think there's much opportunity here for Bunny, unfortunately. So it seems like INnoVation's opener is going to work out. I guess that's one of the benefits of having opened the faster expansion as well, just a little bit. It's paying off for INnoVation here, as we are going to see. Well, that's a kill on the tech lab at least, which is something for Bunny, right? I mean, it's not amazing, but it's also, you know, it's not like, oh my god, INnoVation, he'll never build a tech lab starport unit again. It's not that bad, right? But it's still, you know, it's still kind of nice. All said and done. So Devil's Fire, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime for 21 months. Do you appreciate it? 21. We have so many, like, 16, like, 31 free subs coming in lately. It's really awesome to see, guys. Thank you so much for supporting for so long. Glad you're still enjoying the stream. We do have a couple tanks, the Viking, the Cyclones, Marines, hanging out on the Natron. Two engineering bays are finishing up in the back of the Natural as well, so setting this up, one attack and one armor upgrade getting going. Again, I mean, INnoVation has that extra economy, right? So everything he does should be just that little bit faster. Their third base is started at the same time, but his second and third barracks are already done. His engineering bays are already done. And it's things like that that will just push INnoVation into a lead tier now going into the mid game. And that's why Bunny's going to be the one who has to try and find some good fights to try and make up for that. And obviously, I mean, the SCV difference is still there as well, as both players are flying their third bases into location. Bunny will be the first to see this of his opponent as he goes up that ramp. He actually runs into the siege tank. He didn't actually see the base, but I think he's seen the position. He knows INnoVation is defending the third CC. As we do have Bunny up the right-hand side and looking to try and position an attack in from this right side into these bases of, or these units of INnoVation right now. So here we go. As we set this up. Triple Raven though from INnoVation, man. I mean, it's so much. Ooh, well, now double Raven. Triple Raven has so much energy to use. That was one of the higher energy Ravens that just died to the Cyclone lock-on. That's a nice pick-off for Bunny. Definitely is the start of something perhaps for him. The problem is this position is still just so weak anyways. All it takes is a couple of, good interference matrices, and INnoVation is going to be able to break out without really much problem at all. So yeah, Bunny's in a spot above it there. As we do see Marines dropping into the main base. We see Marines of INnoVation going down pretty quickly as well. And these SCVs being picked away at, so quite a few SCVs going down. 7, 8, 9 workers picked off already. The couple of Vikings landing as well. Going to continue taking quite a bit of damage, and we're going to be having the Viking from INnoVation actually does survive. Wow. Well, that drop cleaned up. Not bad at all for Inno. He is actually going to start losing his upgrade advantage a little bit here. Armory is done, but no 2-2 started. This is finally the damage that Bunny kind of needed, perhaps, to bring him back into this a bit. Yeah, he's still a bit behind on upgrades, etc., but suddenly the work count is evened out. The army supplies are still pretty similar as well. So yeah, Bunny kind of taking away a little bit of the advantage INnoVation's had up until now. And a few of those SCV kills. It's still kind of like Inno's army, though. Even just that second Raven feels great. The two Cyclones here from Bunny, I mean, they did good picking off the Raven, but they're unlikely to be, game-changing in a larger fight compared to, like, 10 more Marines that INnoVation has. INnoVation doesn't have any medevacs, though, so maybe that's something which Bunny also has going for himself. Still has that drop potential, too, so should be pretty intriguing to see how that plays out. What's up, Snafu999? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime for 6 months in a row. And Triangle Man gonna convert from a Twitch Prime to a Tier 1 sub. Thank you so much for committing a bit more hardcore. It's actually kind of a nice little something as well, because you all know where those Twitch Prime subs disappear to. Thank you so much, guys, for the resubs. As obviously, got to keep talking about this game. We're on the point where, honestly, a fight could break out at any moment. Combat shields. Was that something which actually Bunny was ahead on? Yeah, Bunny has been ahead on stim and combat shields, but the problem with being ahead on that is defensively INnoVation can just defend until he has it for himself, right? Whereas something like 1-1 is a much bigger deal, because that slows down your 2-2, that slows down your 3-3, and so having an advantage there maintains itself throughout the game. Whereas again, stim and combat shields is just like INnoVation has to hold on for that X amount of time longer, and then boom, now he has those upgrades. And they aren't kind of gatekeeping him from future tech choices either. So, yeah, INnoVation, I mean, well, the one thing he was behind on is, like, the least influential thing to be behind on. I mean, I guess, obviously, not having stim is, not a good thing to have. But when you're just sitting with all of those tanks, it's very unlikely Bunny finds a way to take advantage of that. So, do you have this drop over here is going to be unloading, actually. INnoVation sees it unloaded. Bunny's still being the aggressor, setting up an army on this right-hand side. Marines finding a refinery already, so picking off one of those. The rest of the army here from Bunny now in the center of the map, moving away a little bit as well. So seeing where it can, or what it can get up to, where it can go. He's actually going to stem down here. INnoVation drops a ton of interference matrix, so a lot of the tanks are just taken out of the fight. In fact, there's only one siege tank here from Bunny that was fighting at all. INnoVation didn't even bother to siege up his own tanks. And we'll pull back to deal with this incoming drop. Vikings have to be careful, and Marines, of course, will target those down if the Vikings get too far ahead of themselves. Oh, that medevac now is super low, though. Two Marines will stay in. The Vikings just going to zone a drop from the main, but Bunny is being safe and backing away, keeping the units alive. But that loss in the middle of the map, that fight, was really, really bad for Bunny. And really, really good for INnoVation here as he's pressing through the center. I mean, I think Inno just has the numbers right now to just pretty much put an end to this game. Suddenly 50 army supply up, free upgrades still coming through. Again, Bunny, while he was behind on upgrades, even then forgot his +2 armor for a little while, which obviously didn't do him any favors, and INnoVation is just going to get himself up to this high ground. And he's going to start pressing forwards. It looks as though he's going to be able to clean out this entire base. So clean this out, and again, just going to be seeing as the Marines pick off the refinery. Supply depots are going down. Bunny is in some real trouble here. Even Liberator's showing up now as well, and of course if INnoVation has the air control, it means he can just basically push back tank lines as much as he would like to, so takes away a lot of the defensive advantage that INnoVation would be looking to Bunny would be looking to try and hold on with. Didn't really come down to that. INnoVation finds the fight, and he does find game number 1. Interesting, so it's just that kind of zigzaggy feature, but there's no kind of like complete wall off of rocks here or anything, so yeah, it's plays a little bit, obviously plays very differently, I think. Just saying what we see. As we do get into game number 2 of our best of 3 between INnoVation and Bunny. Bunny being the blue Terran in the bottom right, INnoVation playing in the red. It is an SCV coming across the map here to throw down a proxy barracks. I mean, that is a hell of a proxy barracks. Obviously, there's, I guess, is it really just only this location to jump into the main, though? I feel like you might be able to jump in right here, even with this depot wall. I think, maybe, possibly. It's kind of a tough one to call, really, as a second barracks comes down as well. SCVs continue to be produced here, of course, as Bunny does not SCV scout, so he doesn't know this is coming for a while. He does go double gas, though, which is, if you don't SCV scout, you generally will go double gas, because then you're just kind of blindly safer against things such as a proxy 2 Rex Reaper. Prize pool for this tournament is $4,000, split across all 20 players. Even if you finish in last place in your group, you get $25. Third place in the group, fourth place in the group, sorry, $75. Third place in the group, $125. Round of 8, $175. Round of 4, $300. Second place, $600, and first place, $1,200 prize money. I think that was right. If that doesn't if you guys haven't mentally added that up to 4,000, or if you haven't, it's wrong, then don't blame me. Math is difficult. Reapers are just sitting here. INnoVation just says, well, if you don't scout, you don't know the Proxy Rex Reaper is coming. I'm better off waiting. Ooh, Bunny does see that Reaper. Just saw it. So he pulls his own Reaper back there. Now, Reaper and a Hellion already on the way. As INnoVation arrives, obviously this means that Bunny should be fairly well set up to deal with this. SCVs continue to take quite a bit of damage here so far. As SCV throwing down a depot in the back of the main base here. A few Reapers gathering together. 2 more Reapers continuing to come up. And this supply depot setting up as well. Command center in the main base. So getting that command center rolling. And these couple of Reapers are about to finish. Factory coming down in the main as well. What's up, No Banners, or No Banes? Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Thanks for casting INnoVation, my boy. Doing pretty well today with the first series win against Zest, looking convincing. Now want to open his second series here against Bunny as well. And those few Reapers just set up for the moment. Hellions and Reapers through the natural expansion we are going to be seeing Reaper grenade dropping down. Reaper's having to back away a little bit as well. SCV comes through, repairs up these Hellions. Barracks moves off of the tech lab, and the starport's going to come and take that tech lab now instead. Obviously in the end here, these Rippers didn't really deal any damage, which is not the end of the world, because INnoVation is able to get an expansion on the low ground already, for example. So obviously INnoVation will be a little bit behind. Those two Rippers just went running in. So yeah, INnoVation is obviously a little bit behind, but it's not kind of the end of the world territory. Like, it is very playable. He just needs like a good fight or so, a couple little things to go his way, and he can definitely find his way back into it. And currently just using these Reapers to kind of control this area as well. You gotta remember, if Bunny goes across the map and INnoVation is able to kind of sneak in with the Reapers, suddenly he can kill a bunch of SCVs, and that could be just what it takes to give, a bit of a way back into the game. Doesn't take much when these Reapers are around and they're super mobile. Who decides which of these maps could be included on the ladder? Eventually Blizzard decides which maps go to the ladder, but for the Team Liquid map contest, it's a contest in itself. So if you guys like these maps, you can vote for them. In a couple of weeks' time, I believe July 15th, voting opens. So you can vote for your favorite maps to win the map contest. Now, generally the maps that finish high in the contest do get placed on the ladder, because they generally are voted for good reasons. For example, New Repugnancy, I believe it was finished very low when it was in the map contest, and it made it onto the ladder too. So it is just Blizzard that decides which maps make it to the ladder in the end, without really any kind of anything too crazy. So yeah, it's basically just Blizzard. Is the simple answer. But yeah, you can vote for the map contest, but just because you vote doesn't just because a map wins the map contest, it still isn't guaranteed to make ladder. Just usually it does, because that's why it wins, But the map contest is for a reason. It's not just for shits and giggles. There is prize money for the map makers. So I think it's $500 if your map finishes in first place. And then it runs down like $100 each. All the finalists already get $100 for just making it into the final 16 though. So that's worth mentioning as well. Banshee shows up from INnoVation. He will find some SCVs, as I'm talking about INnoVation needing some damage in this game. That's a little bit of something. Reaper's pressing forwards. We are going to see nice grenade is going to be going off here, but that's a nice anti-armor missile as well. Reaper's going to be very flimsy now. Small grenades to pop these Marines back. Still trying to trade. I like it from Inno. He's actually getting more value out of this than I thought, but then loses a couple of Reapers to the siege tank shot. Obviously does a little bit further. Bunny down on SCVs, but ahead on Armin will load up a drop to go across the map. He is way ahead on Stim, and actually, it's a drop like this that really punishes INnoVation at the moment for the setup he's in, right? Because, as this Banshee does find 2 more workers and gets out alive, only just. Because now there's not really a lot of mobile units to shut down drops, and I mean, a set of Stim Marines, if there's not a tank to defend in position, it's going to be really deadly. But INnoVation is appreciating this. As you just see the few Reapers continue to come in the main base. You have the medevacs going to be coming through and unloading in the main in a couple of moments' time. SCVs are not actually going to be that too in trouble in the end anyways, actually. Cyclone's locking onto the medevacs as well. That's actually a really nice cleanup here from INnoVation. Really nicely done, as siege tanks, Marines, and medevacs all pressing through into the center of the map. I really thought this was the opportunity for Bunny to get even more damage done, but it doesn't turn out to be the case. So he's still sat on the top side, and we do see INnoVation is still holding that worker advantage, but still down in army, right? And there still is with combat shields finishing. There is still timings here that Bunny can utilize. If he takes a fight with combat shields versus no combat shields, for example, that's something that can go very well for Bunny still, and maybe still give him the the win that he needs to then maybe deal some economic damage on top of it. We have got the Raven with this 2-drop triple medevac on the left side. Looks like everything's just going to drop the main from Bunny here. So going to be one big drop in the main, just as Inno is really paying more attention to the front and between the natural and the third as well. This is a hell of a time to be moving forwards. Bunny has got his own third CC finished too, so while it's not in position like INnoVation's is, it is still on the way. There's those tanks sieging up. Again, the Ravens are very important here. Interference Matrix is available on either side, but a lot more for INnoVation with the triple. And we do see auto turrets dropping down from Inno to begin with. The Interference Matrix has dropped down as well, but Bunny is actually holding on for a moment. There's just not enough for INnoVation to actually keep fighting against this, so Bunny's trading very well so far. Still has some Submarines to help out. Tanks just about reaching over there, but this Banshee is also very good at kind of denying this. Vikings are going to get rid of the Raven and maybe some of these medevacs as well, but 18 SCVs down. There's Marines on the third base, so INnoVation is finally going to lose those workers, which Bunny has been looking to kill for such a long time in this game. I love this, evacuating 2 more siege tanks as well, so Bunny really just getting as much out of here alive as possible, and what a cleanup as well, man. I mean, he's going to get rid of a few more SCVs that are just hiding in this corner, getting rid of the refineries, so in case, you know, this base does come back up, it's another 150 minerals INnoVation has to invest into. Great drop play by Bunny, great usage of the map, and just finding that corner where INnoVation really wasn't ready to defend, just as INnoVation was looking elsewhere on the map as well. Fire pulling back once again now, as we are going to be seeing a couple of Vikings up in the skies. Just going to be seeing Bunny stimming forward to take this fight in the center. INnoVation didn't have combat shields until just now, so the first few moments of this fight were in favor of Bunny. He also has siege tanks in the backline, sieged up. INnoVation never sieged his tanks, and now the Ravens are going to get shot down as well. So one of the remaining advantages that INnoVation had in the form of those Ravens is now taken out of this as well. Suddenly, I think INnoVation has a lot of trouble. He is getting 2-2 upgrades. It's one of those scenarios where maybe if the game goes on, 2-2 kicks in and INnoVation will trade efficiently, but can he survive that long? Bunny has been relentless with these attacks when he smells blood in the water. Marines, tanks, Vikings, and medevacs heading up to the top side of the map as well. Ragmuffin with the gifted sub to Murky. What's up, Murky, dude? How you doing, buddy? Thanks, Murky, for the 19-month resub. Here we go, though. Bunny sieging up once again. The Marines running down the ramp, and the tank fire very good here at the moment. Is there enough? There is, I think, enough Marines for Bunny to clean this up, and he will force INnoVation to lift and kind of get out of there. Lifts a few Marines up to that high ground. There is nothing to defend the third base. A huge round of mules from INnoVation to try and keep him in the game. And these Marines picking them apart. At least there is actually a siege tank there trying to get Marines over here too. Bunny lifts up, respecting those units. INnoVation actually keeping this base mining. He needs to if he wants to win this out. He is getting +2 attack now, so Marine fights will go a bit more in his favor. I love this from Bunny though as well. Just a few units in a very non-committal position. INnoVation repositioning a single siege tank as well to be able to help deal with this. I think Bunny just wants to zerg this base. There's no tank on the high ground here. It is just this one over here. This tank goes down and Bunny will continue to fight. He will lose his tanks on the low ground, however, but I think he's going to get the third base orbital, and of course then he can lift and go into the main base as well. It's the perfect play because INnoVation is just constantly repositioning and chasing him down. He's never comfortably in location to defend. And +2 attack, I mean, this is the sort of fight where it should help INnoVation out, and it is helping him out. He will push these Marines and medevacs away, but having lost the third base, it's probably already just too much damage dealt here. There's these couple of tanks of INnoVation pulling back a little bit as well. Bunny is continuing to pull back down to the bottom right-hand side. Tanks and Marines through the center of the map as well. A couple more medevacs building up also. Armory and Dungeon Bay also begin to build, so we're going to start sending forwards. Tanks are going to siege up. INnoVation with the push to try and get back in the game. But he's just going to collapse on this. Wow. Even without the upgrades on the Marines, he's just going to be able to clean this out. No problem at all. As it's a third game between the two of them. On the top right-hand side, I really loved the drop play in game number 2. Still kind of ended up close, but he was able to just kind of swoop in and... I mean, I say ended up close, right? INnoVation basically held on for a long time, but eventually Bunny was able to swoop in and get that kill. It is Bunny in the top right-hand side of the map. And to the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player. Give it up for INnoVation here in this game number 3. I really did believe for a moment the 2-2 of INnoVation might be something to really turn around the game. But of course, in the end, it just really wasn't enough. And I was actually very surprised just how one-sided the fight for Bunny was at the very end of Game 2. It just kind of felt like it was a... I don't know, I just felt like the 2-2 was going to kind of put up more of a fight, but... You know, and then maybe he has like that one final push towards Bunny's base, and if that gets cleaned up, okay, he's kind of dead, but... Yeah, actually just kind of concluded a lot faster than that, so... Getting this going, and we are going to see a barracks coming up on each side of the map. No proxy racks, no Reapers here to start off this game number 2. Obviously, INnoVation with the unsuccessful 2-Rax Reaper in the last game kind of was behind from the start. And even when he was dealing damage with the Banshee and so on, it never felt like he got properly... He never got into a lead, I would say, right? I think at times it maybe got a little bit closer, maybe evened up a little bit. That was really about it. Orbital Command in this main base is going to be finishing in a moment or two. Command Center dropping in the natural of Bunny. No CC from INnoVation. He's going double gas, so a little bit of a switch up from what we've seen before. What's up, Tenderfoots? Thank you so much for subscribing to the stream. Can you get some love in the chat for Tenderfoots, please? Says Wardy is the best just before he subscribes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Some Wardy hypes, Wardy little hearts in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. INnoVation goes for the reactor opening as well, and he's going to go into Reapers right away. So he's going to reactor Reapers, probably goes to like either 4 Reapers, and then kind of cuts there, or he just goes for these 2, and then he actually puts the factory onto the reactor and gets more Hellions out. The thing is, early game, Reapers are actually pretty actually powerful, kind of Reaper versus Hellion. What this can turn into for INnoVation is actually a very aggressive attack very early on, especially with Bunny going for the earlier expansion, factory delayed, etc. And he's actually building a tech lab here. There can really be like a very overwhelming kind of army where you kind of come in with like 4 to 6 Reapers and like a bunch of Hellions, and Bunny might just not have enough to deal with it. There's also going to be the starport too, right? So you can medevac your way into the main base perhaps. You can drop the Hellions in while the Reapers just jump up to the high ground themselves. That can bypass any defense or even the units just in position on the low ground too, and obviously then you really do have a lot of potential for damage. Yeah, INnoVation is still building Reapers, so I'm absolutely convinced that he's going for this very aggressive attack, because again, this is a lot of resources as well. It means that his expansion turns out to be very late, so you can't just go without really committing into some sort of attack here. So it's going to be 4 Reapers at the moment and the 3 Hellions with a medevac coming across the map. 2 more Reapers are in production, 1 more Hellion too, so reinforcements will be across the map sooner rather than later. Let's see these units pressing forwards. Which way does INnoVation go? Man, if he hits the front right now, if he hadn't stopped, he actually would have hit the front before the bunker was done. Now he just gets the Reaper, but this is the part where the medevac becomes very useful, because you can just jump up into the main. Cyclone locks onto the medevac, but it is going to be, well, just taken down. The Reaper damage is pretty good. However, the Reaper's caught by an SCV surround, reinforcing the units. The Hellion is able to just run straight through, but no, going to send those down to the natural. So INnoVation is going to split up the army to try and maximize damage as he kills the Marines in the main. The natural is absolutely exposed, and that is a decisive maneuver